Sean Whaley is furious.
He's upset. 100%.
Oh, welcome in, everyone. Happy Friday. Today is July 11th, 2025, episode 185 of Axe Cake Picks. Kid, it's been say this, a whirlwind of a week, but it's nice weather we got up here. How are you doing down in the Carolinas?
Happy 7-Eleven, get your free Slurpees.
Oh,
you know,
nice.
Hey, love the numbers. You know, I'm gonna be locked into a lot of what's going on this weekend. ACA 189, I think already happened. You got LFA 212, Cage Warriors 192, Brave CF 97, and hell, even after that crazy press conference, you saw the BKFC press conference. They got one tonight at Hollywood, BKFC 78. So, I mean, this weekend is just stacked with.
Yeah, very stacked. We got UFC. It's back at Nashville at the Bridgestone Arena. We got Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, the trilogy tonight at the Garden. I've been seeing posters everywhere, bulletin boards everywhere. I love the face-off. I love Katie Taylor coming out and saying, "Hey, but you are 0-2. The facts are the facts." I fucking love it. We also got Edgar Berlanga and Hamza Shiraz in Queens. Chief support is Shakur Stevenson and William Zapata as well. So we got a stacked boxing card. We got UFC, and Joey will end us over in One Fight Night 33. Going down tonight on Amazon Prime, going head-to-head with Amanda Serrano. But we will start. By the way, I wanted to ask you, did you happen to watch PFL Brussels last week?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I didn't see it. I saw that spinning back fist knockout. It has to be one of the knockouts of the year.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, that was a good card, honestly. The fell short because I had 10 seconds left. I talked about it with Ali Taleb. Taylor Lapilus. I mean, he's been a consistent fighter for some time, but also that main event, Patrick Habiwara with that vicious knockout to Danny Roberts. Like you said, that spinning kick. So, I mean, watch the prelims, watch these other promotions. I'm sure you'll get some exciting finishes.
And we said, PFL might be under the radar right now with whatever Don Davis is doing, but PFL Europe is thriving. What Dan Hardy is doing and the talent that he's getting over there in Europe, it's been amazing. So PFL Europe has always been.
And they're
really
starting
good.
Africa next week. I think it'll be their first one ever.
So cannot wait for that. Kid, let's start with some news before we get into these picks. I don't know if you heard, but you probably did. Donald Trump, he announced the plan to host the UFC events on the grounds of the White House as part of America's celebration of 250 years next year. And people did a full dive on it. It actually falls on a Saturday. Dana White, he went on the Full Send podcast. He said he obviously doesn't expect tickets for this event to be sold to the public. All attendees are expected to receive complimentary entry, and they've already talked to the White House. They're trying to figure out logistics, and he says his team will present the initial plans to President Trump within the 2 weeks. So we saw John Jones put his name in the hat. We saw Conor McGregor.
He's back in the testing pool, supposedly?
Yeah. I mean, he just loves attention, that guy. Yeah, this is incredible. I just worry about, the week before that is usually International Fight Week. You can't have back-to-back.
Who says you can't?
The fight, there's no talent.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you expect? Who would you like to see headline?
I think it'll be hard. That's gonna, if you're not going to be selling tickets to the public, I don't think you can necessarily throw an event without getting the sales tickets, and not necessarily fair to, I guess, the public, but a type of event like that at the White House, I understand why it would be invitation only. You need to keep that place as secure as possible. So I get it. It's unfortunate because who's going to be there? Only none of the real fans in a sense. I mean, obviously there'll be some celebrities that are fans, but it'd only be high profile individuals.
Hey, big 4'5" and 4'7's a big MMA guy. Come on.
Oh yeah. Hey, but you said not going to be probably open to the public, and like I said, I don't think they're necessarily going to. It'll be a charity event in a sense, like something like that. It's just. Can't rely just on selling it to the pay-per-views. So I don't know if it comes to fruition or not. I really don't. Like we said,
I think it does. I think it's the biggest event for the sport in company history.
It'd be great. It'd be cool, but they're going to have to probably shut down a quarter block
probably
Washington, DC.
The last 5-6 blocks of Pennsylvania Avenue.
It's a lot.
It.
So, like, if we're gonna focus on doing something like this, we could have also. I think it would have been easier to have some events elsewhere around the world, right? I think that brings in the argument of having more international cards. We thought we were going to get something in Spain for Ilia Topuria, right? We're having a South African champion defended in Chicago where there's no regional interest between either fighter. They're just doing it because Chicago deserved a card after so long. That's, I think, if they put their efforts into this stuff, they can make it happen. So I agree. Yeah, we could definitely see a fight, but it's surely going to be difficult. And then I also think not only logistics, money always is
money. I think, how Barack, huge basketball guy, some presidents are baseball guys. Pope Leo, big White Sox guy. So it's like, and happens big 4'5", 4'7's a big MMA guy. I think it's great for the sport. Logistics is going to be hard. I wonder who's going to headline it. And yeah, we talk about going international or going places that they haven't gone before. Like at a time when you had two Chinese, the fight with Wei Lei Zhang and Zhang Shan now, like you could have went to China. Spain is literally on the table for you, and there's no plans, no discussions about going to Spain. Like that is a massive failure. Like do what you did for Conor when he was champion. You had press conferences in Ireland,
global press conferences. I mean, the promotion for the Mayweather McGregor was global.
So I don't know. I think it winds up happening. I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know who's going to be attendance. Like, I just hope it's not all these streamers that get like these tickets. And maybe I'm a hater for saying that, but it's just like
I think
I'd rather
a guarantee. Yeah, I think if the event's going to occur, I think that's what needs to happen actually. So it's like it's either going to have the event the way they need to do it or not have it at all. That's why I do think it's a little skeptical. I think they could plan it out, but as you brought up, if they could do this, they could do a lot more for us as fans.
100%. So where they are planning a fight night is Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. They want to go back October 11th. They're planning a fight night in Rio de Janeiro. Who would you like to see headline this card? I have a name, but I want to hear what you think.
We got to bring back Jose Aldo, right?
Right, the King of Rio. But no, seriously.
I feel like you would still want to get Charles Oliveira in there.
Okay. A little bounce back.
Yeah, you would still want to get Charles Oliveira in there. I mean, that's a big card. The timetable is depending. I mean, Pantoja, right?
But it's a fight night.
High level. It's a fight night?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I don't think it's going to be a champion.
Yeah, if it's just a fight night, it could be some high profile fighter. Damn, man. I was thinking like a guy like Vitor Petrino, not main eventing, but being on the card, exciting fighters. Because if he walks unscathed from this weekend, I think you could turn him around quickly. So, man, I mean, who do you have on? Who do you have on your mind?
The number one flyweight, Natalia Silva, the Brazilian, taking on Mana Fior. Coming off a loss,
not bad.
Coming off a win, they're gonna probably run the super fight with Zhang Weili and Valentina. She has to wait anyway, or a Jasmine Jasudavicius, or maybe an Aaron Blanchfield. But Natalia Silva, they need to put this girl out there and promote her more in her home country. I know they're not very big into girls headlining, but I went to a girls headline in AC, so it is possible. And yeah, put some Vio Patricio and put some of maybe a Johnny Walker. I know he's fighting in China, but like maybe put people like that, Charles Oliveira, someone like that. I didn't even think of him. That's a good bounce back spot for him. So yeah, maybe something like that. But I am glad that they're going back to Rio de Janeiro, October 11th. Kid, we got a banger. August 16th in the United Center. We were there. UFC 319. Jeff Neal taking on Carlos Prates.
Woo! Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, yo, if Carlos Prates gets past that Jeff Neal, maybe you could throw him on a Brazil card, right? Get some of the fighting nerds in there too. Yeah, because they always bring the fight. So, I mean, I like it. Stack up that card. That Chicago card deserves it. It's a great city. Chicago.
Who would you favor in that fight?
I mean, Jeff Neal's got the experience, right? We just saw Prates get exposed a little bit, but Jeff's not known to really utilize as much grappling.
But he can.
He can. He certainly can. And I mean, Hands of Steel Neil. I mean, he could be live, but I think I might go Carlos Birthdays.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jeff Neal just because you remember Jeff Neal took Shavkat to the brink.
Yeah,
that man was putting it on him, bro.
Dude,
he's tough as a $2 steak. That guy, Jeff Neal. And honestly, I'm not fading anybody named Jeff with a G.
No, real spelling.
So yeah, we got that going on. Your girl is back September 13th, Noche UFC. Raquel Pennington taking on my girl, Big Norma Dumont. That's a great fight.
Norma Dumont via dump truck.
Via massacre.
Laura Senko with the legendary call out. She's driving a dump truck.
And if she beats a former champion, she's next.
I mean, how many wins in a row does she have? Isn't she on a streak right now?
Let me
did she
check
drop
that
one
out
recently?
Let me check that out. But she's sitting fourth. My question to you, though, if she goes out and beats a former champion like Raquel Pennington, maybe Juliana's next. But how many more fights, realistically, do you think Kayla Harrison has at bantamweight?
At bantamweight, I'm gonna go on the record and say it's not bantamweight. I'm still on that hill. I'm gonna die on that hill. That is gonna be at 145. That she's gonna get the Amanda Nunes fight at 145. And they could run that fight back if Amanda Nunes knocks Kayla Harrison out. You know what I mean? So, man, honestly, if they do that, what I say, there's going to be none. There's going to be only 145 if they could try to – it's going to be easier for Kayla Harrison. I mean, I do think that it's, inmates running the asylum at that point, though. It's unfortunate. I guess the UFC, to keep the brand, they're going to have to say, you know what? I know it's going to be difficult to make 135, but we need you to. So
we need you, yeah.
Maybe you're right. Maybe this fight is going to be at 135. And honestly, though, it could be just the two Nuneses as an out. You know, everything they're doing right now for her to fight a former champ.
That's the fight next, right? She's going to fight Amanda.
If Norma Dumont gets past it, she could be next in line, but she might not have a champion. She might have to fight for the vacant belt.
So I was looking at her Tapology. She's won 5 in a row. Her last loss is over 2 years ago to Macy Chiasson to a split decision. She's 5 fights in a row. If she goes out there in September and beats a former champion,
she's next.
She's next.
She's next. And if it's brass tacks, yeah, she gets the shot against Kayla Harrison. Or, I mean, if Amanda Nunes wants to stay there. But for Amanda winning the belt, it makes you think that there's nothing there. I guess that's what you get for getting some retirement fighters in. It could hold up the divisions.
Now, I mentioned a little earlier, a few minutes ago, that the UFC is going back to Brazil. For the first time ever, November 22nd, the UFC is going to Qatar for a fight night. Who would you like to see headline that? Qatar sounds sick.
They got the World Cup, and then now they're getting the UFC for the first time. Man, it could be countless, countless. Let's get Mateusz Gamrot out in Qatar. I mean, bro travels well. He fights pretty much well around the world, right? I think
you got to get a Middle Eastern though.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. But it could be a Eastern Hemisphere fighter. It doesn't have to be specific to the Middle East. It could be, Asia.
No, but it's right European. There. It's right by Dubai, Saudi Arabia.
It makes sense because the crowd gets into it. The regional fans get behind the fighter, and it just makes it all for the best. But also could silence the crowd. You get the away fighter getting a victory over the home fighter, and it's just crickets. So,
would you go to Qatar?
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. 100%.
I'm down.
Yeah. We're trying to get tickets to go to Dubai for last Islam fight, right? When it was on my birthday. So
yeah.
I'm down.
It's usually your birthday's. We're gonna go to Dubai for your birthday one year. It's always around there, the October card. Yeah. So yeah, that's sick. And UFC's going to places they've never gone before. So I love it. They're up and traveling again. So I'm happy. I want to see who headlines that card November 22nd. It is a fight night, but I'm excited. I'm glad that they're going back to the Middle East.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you heard about this, but shout out Yoel Romero. He has signed with BKFC. They just announced the World's Baddest Man tournament starting March of next year, 2026. Winner taking home $15 million. Shout out Connor. Shout out Dave Feltman getting a piece of the company. I watched it yesterday. What a press conference. It was amazing. I mean, when
I
Connor
like
was telling Mike Perry, "You dance for me," I was like, "Yo, he's crazy."
But that Dave Mundell fight's great for the
Oh,
sport.
great! And they also signed 3 former UFC
Yes, they did.
guys: Thiago Santos, Aspen Ladd.
I was gonna
and
say
your boy,
one's a women's division. You got Aspen Ladd in there, which is good because I think they need more of that. Those willing to exchange bare knuckles. I mean, if those are got enough to do so, sign them. You know,
You think Yoel Romero will do well though?
Yeah, I mean he's explosive, bro. That's
but
the
he's
thing,
old.
I don't necessarily think that matters as much. You know, you're a veteran of the game. You can handle the pain. Your pain threshold may be a little bit higher than most, and then like he still fights explosive, and he's so big right now, man. I'm sure he could take a good shot. So yeah, it's not bad for the sport at all. I mean, look at Karate Combat too. They're following it soon. I'm mad to hear they're both coming out with those tournaments. I think it's something that sport needs. We need these Grand Prix, the tournaments. I mean, hell, when we started, the origins of mixed martial arts was one-day tournaments. These guys were fighting multiple times in a single night. So, I mean, we can have these guys full, multiple times in a single calendar year for a tournament, a Grand Prix.
100%. Cannot wait for that. That will be very interesting. We got some boxing news as well. It is official, November 22nd, the same day as that Qatar card. Going back to Saudi Arabia, Riyadh season, headline by David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde. Chief support, and I think this is the people's main event.
People's main event.
Devin Haney taking on Brian Norman Jr., the champ. They got into it yesterday. I don't know if you saw the video. You got Jesse Bam Rodriguez taking on Fernando Martinez. Abdul Mason taking on Sam Nukes. What a fucking card that is. Holy shit, I'm so happy.
Boxing is, I mean, bro, Manny Pacquiao's back next week. I mean, you heard the news. Gervonta Davis, him getting in trouble again. And I mean, it takes away from Lamont Roach Jr. again, unfortunately. So, yeah, we need these good cards. I mean, these cards this weekend, I'm expecting a lot out of the all women's card, the Belanga Shiraz. I mean, it's going to be a good weekend, man. I'm excited.
You mentioned it this morning. Gervonta Davis arrested again. The WB lightweight champion was arrested on battery and domestic violence charge in South Florida this morning. He is accused of hitting his ex-girlfriend in the back of the head and smacking her in the face. I'll say this, and then we could go into our picks. I think Gervonta Davis is a generational talent. I think he's one of the best boxers that's alive right now, but
this is again,
this is not the first, this is not the second. Like, how many strikes does this guy need? And I can't rock or support someone who hits women like that. Personally, I just can't fuck with this guy anymore. It's over for him.
And I know I don't want to leave it on a negative note. I agree with you wholeheartedly, but let's turn it on its head, man. I gotta give flowers to Jake Paul because putting on the MVP promotions, getting this full women's card, I think that's fantastic for female sports, combat sports, and then also taking care of Ben Askren's medical bill.
My
hospital bill. I think you got to give him respect for what he did there. The insurance company's unwilling to take care of us, especially those that are paying premiums every month just to make a nut. And you got people kind of by the throat just to make these payments, just to keep coverage, and yet they get denied on their claims. That was a hard video to watch, but I'm glad that he's awake. It's nothing but a testament to his true character. Ben Askren's 101. I mean, I watched the Askren video. There's a documentary on him on YouTube for you guys for free. Watch that. But, thanks to Jake Paul stepping up, on short notice.
He's a warrior. I mean, that video, I had chills watching it. I'm so happy he's awake and conscious now. He doesn't even remember it. It's a very chilling video, but I'm happy. I'm glad someone's taking care of him. And, say what you want about Jake Paul, but he's taking care of his own. He's taking care of boxing, and I'm glad. Honestly, I said it tongue-in-cheek last episode with Nikita Bazarian, but I'm glad they're going after Piers Morgan and everything. It's defamation. It for you to say they're putting on rig events just discredits everything.
Yep, delegitimizes.
Great word. So, yeah, so I'm glad everyone's going after them, where MVP is going after him. And what they're doing for women's boxing, no 100%. One is doing it. Tonight's card is going to be amazing. Now, it's obviously not going to break the numbers of Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, but still, it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be a great fight.
Okay, let's get into it. Before we get into UFC Nashville, I got a little trivia for you. Now, think back.
Hit me.
Brazilians on a terrific run of UFC main events in 2025. When they headline either a pay-per-view or a fight night. Lost Charles Oliveira against Ilia Topuria. Gilbert Burns, Michael Morales.
Lost.
David Figueroa lost to Corey Sandhagen. Carlos Prates, Ian Machado Gary.
Lost.
Diego Lopez against Alexander Volkanovski. Alex Pereira
Lost.
against Magomed Ankalaev.
Lost.
Gregory Rodriguez taking on Jared Cannonier.
Lost that.
Renato Moicano versus Islam.
He lost.
Amanda Ribas versus Mackenzie Dern.
Oh, yeah, that's a Brazilian versus Brazilian, so wash, but still lost.
And then the only win was Mackenzie Dern, who beat Amanda Ribas.
You know what? I was gonna say Mackenzie Dern. You know what? American.
American, yeah.
It doesn't count. Count it up.
And now Teixeira is a huge favorite against
unproven huge favorite.
What could go wrong in Bridgestone Arena? Kid, why don't we start us off?
I think the fans are in for a treat this weekend, man.
$100
it's a
fun card.
Fun card, cheap card. If you can make it out to Nashville,
I saw tickets for like $120.
Yeah, I saw even cheaper than that, dude. And also cheap tickets for Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor as well. So affordable if you guys can make it out. Go enjoy these events, man. But let's kick it off, like you said. And I'm gonna get involved in the first fight because it involves your girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you met in airport, chatted up with the team, and I think Fatima Klein, this is her time to prove that she's a heavy favorite as she is. The strawweight matchup will be between her at -940 and up, -1,000. Keep growing. I think more bets are coming in on her against Melissa Martinez, who's a massive underdog, +900 and up. I think Fatima Klein has showcased her stand-up skill, but she hasn't really gone forward with her grappling. But she used to compete in grappling tournaments all the time, and I think she wants to showcase that here. I think she'll find a way to get on top. Melissa Martinez has been out-grappled in pretty much every fight she's had. So I think the path to submission here is great for Fatima Klein, and I like that play. So let's take her via submission to start it up. UFC Nashville, first prop bet, Klein via submission at +250.
I gotta have a play. I met the team. Great family she has, a support system. She's a local girl. She's a huge favorite in this fight, and I think for good reason. She seems to be like the whole package in terms of what you kind of look for in a prospect. Her favorite way to win is kind of drag her opponent to the ground, either ground or pound, or to your point, look for a submission. And I think we could get both of those here against Melissa Martinez, who I don't think very high of. She just has a 25% takedown defense. I think this is an awful matchup for her. Get back into the win column, Fatima Klein. I'm going to take her inside the distance at -110.
-110. Still great odds. Still make a nice buck on that play. So glad we're on the same side there, as are a lot of people like Fatima Klein in this matchup. So let's go.
I like Mike Davis.
I was going to say a lopsided one again. Yeah, lightweights. Beast Boy Mike Davis, man. He is a fan favorite. I mean, he brings it a lot. -900, I'm seeing, can even swell up more against Mitch Ramirez at +685, +700. I mean, I just think he's outmatched in this one. I think I got to officially lean Beast Boy Mike Davis in this. I think he's the right side. I think you want to see a finish, but, it's just a matter if he's going to put it all together to get Mitch Ramirez out of there. And, I mean, Mitch Ramirez is tough. He could dog it out and make it to the judges. So that's why you got to find the value pick in this for me. I just got to take him on the lean here straight up. But, money line and some of the props, there's no value in it. So that's why I'm doing the lean on it.
Yeah, Nick Davis, I think he's such a cool fighter, but he's a huge favorite. Maybe put him in your parlay, but he should win this fight.
And you might have to parlay him with a prop, which is a little tricky. So that's why we officially stayed away. But I got to lean on him like you do, I guess, in a sense. So let's take this volatile next fight. I think this is too spicy to touch, in my opinion.
Really?
I'm not gonna have a play in this, so it's too volatile. This heavyweight matchup is going to be exciting. When Kennedy Nzechukwu -190 is taking on Walter Walker at +185. It's clash of styles. I think styles make fights, right? Kennedy's going to want to keep it standing. I think if he can get Walter Walker out of the first round, I think it could start going in his favor. More stand-up you see coming from him. But that heel hook, bro, I mean, 2 in a row is a chance he can make it 3. It would be crazy. I don't want to take part in it. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take him on the money line, +180. I see +185 around here, but I love Walker in this fight, kid. I mean,
you saw the weigh-in?
Yeah, it's been crazy.
A character.
He's a character, and yeah, like you mentioned, he recently became the first heavyweight to win 2 fights by heel hook. I mean, his jiu-jitsu game is It's unquestionable at this point.
Not even Ryan Hall could have done that.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes him dangerous in this fight, and not just this fight, but this division. And in addition, he's fighting Kenichi Nzechukwu, who has only fought twice at heavyweight, and against very poor competition. I think Walker may only need one takedown to welcome him to the division. So I like him on the money line plus 180, plus 185, and I'm taking him via submission at plus 650.
Going for it, but only if you could play the specific submission and just hammer home via heel hook. I mean,
if he does it, he should headline the Rio de Janeiro card.
Let's go into this next fight, man. I might have a surprise for you guys.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, this flyweight division, you look at Eduardo Mora and you can agree with the odds, right? You say she's, she's done some good, with where she is at in her career. We all know that Lauren Murphy, this is going to be her retirement fight. But did you see Lauren Murphy on that scale? She looks great. I at her age, 40 and up, I still think she could do it. I think you doubt her time and time again, and we've seen in this women's division these big dogs cash. I think she's live. I think it's worth the value pick. So give me Lauren Murphy. Lucky in this one at plus 550 and up. I'll all over that on the money line. I think Mora could be a little overhyped in this, and she's faded in later rounds. Lauren Murphy has not, and I think she could grind her out, especially if she secures that takedown before Eduardo Mora. Whoever gets the takedown first will probably ride out the victory and throw out each round in the fight. So I just think Lauren Murray's veteranship will, and let's take the big dog price at plus 550.
One of the best values on the card, and I couldn't agree more, Joe. Plus 500. I like Murphy on the money line, but even if you can't get there on DraftKings or certain books, the spread plus 3.5 is at plus 150. The spread should take care of itself. Eduardo Mora, she's a fighter that relies on being very physical, getting takedowns, and outside of Valentina Shevchenko in a title fight, nobody has really bodied Murphy that way. She should win at least one round, forcing Eduardo to box with her. So I think she gets it home at plus 500, but plus 3.5 at plus 150 is incredible value. Yes. I think it's a split decision. Give me Lauren Murphy, baby. She looked great.
Fantastic, brother. Let's go to this next one. And I think it's going to be an exciting matchup. And surprisingly enough, this 170-pound matchup, I don't have an official play because it's more or less of which Jake Matthews do we get. I mean, the Celtic Kid, you had high aspirations for him, but he's very inconsistent. And I mean, Chidi Njokuani coming in here, he's going to be coming in big. He had to completely strip down to make the weight, and I think it's closely contested here. I do. So I want to stay away from it. Jake Matthews is a dog at plus 135. And Chidi Bang Bang is minus 135. I think based off the streaks, like I said, the inconsistency of Jake Matthews makes you pause. But Chidi Njokuani is on a streak right now.
Yeah, nothing for me here. I wanted absolutely nothing to do with this fight. Should be an interesting one though.
Yeah, that's why it's too many variables in that. Yeah. So let's go to another 170-pound matchup, man. The Action Man, Chris Curtis is back. Minus 130 on the books. I like it because Max Griffin, though he looks great and he came in on the scale on point, he tends to lose by decision a lot. So he's a hard guy to finish, but it's just the skills don't necessarily match what the talent could be. So plus 260, I kind of think he's out of it. The way you're going to get value out of Chris Curtis is a guy who's going to take what the fighters give him. And I think if Max Payne Griffin just, keeps the pace low, I think Chris Curtis will oblige. So Action Man via decision, minus 140. It's not an exciting bet, but like I said, Chris Curtis is willing to go to distance, and he'll piece you up for these 3 rounds as Max Griffin is hard to finish.
Yeah, Chris Curtis finally moving down to welterweight, where, in my opinion, I think he should have been his whole UFC career. He gets a tough, outstanding guy, and I like Max Griffin. I think he's a fun fighter. Now, I do like Chris Curtis to win. The money line is just spiraled out of control. So I think we could get a much better line. I think it goes deep, to your point. I think it goes all 3 rounds. And I think it goes bell to bell. So fight to go to the decision is at minus 190. I like that much better than taking a side. So I think it goes all 3. But I do like Chris Curtis here.
Yeah, Max Griffin could steal one out in his home weight class. Like you said, Chris Curtis making his way down. So there's a couple of guys like that, making their appearance in a new weight class. And this next one is also going down.
It's the start
Junior
of the main card, too.
Yeah, start of the main card. Junior Tafa is making his appearance at light heavyweight. And he's favored it here. He's minus 150 because, that the Glory kickboxing, he has the hands. He has the stand-up ability to take out a Tuco Tokos at plus 145. But, it's styles make fight yet again. And Tuco Tokos, I know he could easily get knocked out in this one. But if he hits the mat, he could easily get a submission or just – grind out Junior Tafa. I think I got to be biased towards my grapplers in this one. Like I said, though you could see a knockout from him, I'm going to go with the opposite in Tuco Tokos, because if he goes to the mat, I feel like a submission could happen quick, or it could be all 3 rounds being grounded out. Not used to the weight class and not used to the grappling. So fading the favorite, see some value in the dog. Give me George Tuco Tokos.
Yeah, plain and simple for me with this one. I'm going to take Junior Tafa here. If Tokos can't take down Tafa and hold him down for 15 minutes, he will get knocked out. Tokos lost his past 2 fights, and though Junior Tafa is new to the light heavyweight division, he does have knockout power, and I think that lasts all 15 minutes. So I expect Tafa to come out the gate looking fresh, looking to finish the fight, and I think
he looks great.
Does. Yeah, and I think he does. So I'm going to take him straight up minus 175.
Yeah, I went with the dog. I went the value. It's hard making debuts in the new weight classes, especially that he's going down. And Tuco Tokos is not a small light heavyweight at all. So, but the disparity in stand-up, like you said, man, he could go to sleep quick. Now, this is the heavyweight matchup we've been looking forward to, because this guy, Vitor Petrino, is going up. He's moving it up into a new weight class, and he's minus 600 and up, taking on the newly anointed Dewan Lane. It is no longer Austin Lane. He has changed his name into Dewan Lane. Signs of CTE. He is plus 525, and he's completely counted out here because Vitor Petrino looks fantastic. I think he's going to finish this guy. It's just about whether it's going to happen in the first or if it's going to happen in the second, and I think he's going to have to get acclimated to the weight class. He's going to have to figure out Dewan Lane, because Dewan Lane does rely on the jab. He's got some size to him, and he make things kind of hectic in the first. So I see Vitor Petrino knocking him out in the second round. Give me that exact bet. Petrino, second round KO TKO at plus 340. That's a way to get some value out of minus 600 and up favorite. I like Vitor Petrino. I think he's going to have a home here at 265.
No play for me here.
Now into the next one. I like this fight a lot. 145 pounds featherweight matchup. You have Nate the Train Landwehr in his own backyard. It's only an hour drive from Clarksville to Nashville. He's going to bring it. The crowd's going to be in his corner. He's a dog every time he goes out there, but he is exactly that, a dog at plus 220. Morgan Charrier, I like everything about this dude. Minus 250 for a reason. I think he has significantly better striking. I do feel like he can handle his own on the ground. I think that the crowd and the momentum of everything for Nate Landwehr is going to be the driving force for him to get a victory, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. He might be tough enough to get to the judges. So I do think like Morgan, I think he's a skilled fighter, and I think he could win this any which way. He's a guy I'm willing to lay the minus 250 on the money line with, because I see a possible path to submission. Obviously, he has the skills, never been finished on the feet, and he's got almost 14 KO TKOs. He just falls short with the decisions a bunch of time, and I just don't think Nate Landwehr is going to have the skills to get him there. So, yeah, Morgan Charrier, lay in the chalk, minus 250.
Yeah, again, nothing for me, kid.
I hope you're getting involved in this exciting matchup next, because it's once again at 145. This featherweight matchup has Calvin Kattar plus 105. I'm seeing on the book somewhere, and Steve Garcia is the slight favorite at minus 105. Has that swayed anyways? Steve getting more of a favorite than Calvin Kattar in this?
Let me see. So right now I see Calvin Kattar plus 110, minus 125. Steve Garcia
minus 125. So. Yeah, I saw it a little earlier, minus 105. I like the over 1.5 rounds in this one. I think people are overestimating the power of Steve Garcia in the sense, not that he doesn't have it, but also underestimating the durability, key emphasis on Calvin Kattar, because I think that he's durable. He's never been knocked down in his UFC career. I think that's what it is. If they go blow for blow, I think you can see Calvin Kattar coming out victorious on this, but I think either way, you're going to get out of the first round, and you may even get out of the second round, and a finish could happen late from either side. It's just about if Steve Garcia can crack the chin of Calvin Kattar. I mean, you could see him dropping him, I don't necessarily think you're going to knock out Calvin Kattar. Could see Steve Garcia, with that power, dropping him and being the first to knock down Calvin Kattar, and that's what can give him a decision victory. But I like this fight going more. I want to see an exciting matchup here. It could go to the judges. I think you have a fight of the night candidate here. Give me the over 1.5 rounds at -125.
Yeah, I'm just looking real quick. Yeah. It's crazy, kid. I like this fight for Steve Garcia. He's on a 5-fight win streak by finish as well. And I think he's going to add Kattar to the resume. Garcia's tough out for anyone because you mentioned it, like his knockout power. He has durability to match that as well. And he could also use his underrated ground game if needed. I think his ground game is very underrated. I like Calvin Kattar a lot. I think he's a very underrated and good fighter, but he has lost 4 fights in a row. Unless he could tire Garcia out with his wrestling that he rarely uses, I just don't see a path to victory for Calvin Kattar. So I'm going to take Garcia here. I think he continues impressive run, and I think he goes for 6 in a row. So -125, give me Steve Garcia.
I like it, man. You see sometimes with Kattar, he fails to control the pace of the fight. And I mean, if you let that happen with Steve Garcia, he'll get you out quick. So yeah. Let's see about this co-main event matchup, man. Not a far travel, for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson here. So, he's home at 170, plus 320. He's taking on Gabriel Bonfim at -350. You see a lot of good coming out from Gabriel Bonfim, but he did have a loss, and we hit big. We have predicted a loss on Gabriel Bonfim before and hit big with Nicholas Dalby. Are we going back to the well here, D-Rock? I mean, I am, brother. I'm going to go take Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I like the quick trip from South Carolina to Tennessee. I think you see Gabriel Bonfim flat-footed at times. You can see the different body types in Nicholas Dalby being more of a tank-ish kind of fighter, low center of gravity, where, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is more, quick-footed, light on his feet, gets in and out very quickly. And even at 42, he looks fantastic. So I think he's live here. I do think that Gabriel Bonfim is going to be trying to get this to the ground. And if he can deny takedowns, keep this fight standing, it's going to be a long night for him. So it's a clash of styles. Though I took a grappler earlier in the main card, I'm going to be siding with my striker here, going with South Carolina guy, Carolina Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Let's take him big value, plus 320. More or less, if you want to squeeze even more value out of it, I think you could possibly see it, only decision or KO, TKO / decision for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, because there's going to be no submission on the table. The submission solely lies with Gabriel Bonfim, but I'm going to be fading Bonfim as we made money on him before doing so. So give me Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, plus 320.
Yeah, Nicholas Dalby was a fucking dog in that fight. I wanted to get to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson so bad this week. I just couldn't do it. Consecutive losses in December 2023, October 2024. And now Stephen Wonderboy Thompson takes on another up-and-coming finisher in Gabriel Bonfim. On the feet, Stephen Wonderboy's distance striking and lateral movement will help him avoid the power, I think. But my question is for how long? At some point, I do think Gabriel Bonfim will get to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and he'll get him to the ground and implement his jiu-jitsu. Wonderboy's a 13-year veteran, and he has losses 4 of his last 5 fights. Deserves credit for taking this fight at this point of his career, but Bonfim I just think Bonfim's a bad matchup for him. So I think he shines. I'm going to take him inside the distance. I think he finishes Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I'll take that -110.
Not bad. Not bad. Opposite sides there. We had a couple we're aligned with, a couple we're on the opposite ends, and here we are at the main event. And for UFC Nashville, it's a heavyweight showdown. This clash between the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, man, all-time leading knockout artist in the heavyweight division, and the UFC as a whole, right? Pretty sure is the most knockouts ever. Plus 230. I mean, this guy has seen it all, but Towson Teixeira has not. He has not seen a lot. And they value him as a favorite here at -250 at least. And I've seen even higher on some books. But, man, you could say the size, you could see the first-round finishes, and that's why you could say Towson Teixeira. And with new injection of new blood in the heavy division, which is so much needed. But we've seen that put to bed countless times again. And you say Derek Lewis, he hasn't maybe fought someone that size. He has. Travis Hopper Brown. Derek Lewis, I know that was like almost 10 years ago, but he knocked him out, knocked him foolish. And I don't think Towson Teixeira has been tested like that. And no, but if you get cracked a couple of times in Dana White Contender Series fight, and then I think also as well in his previous matchup too, whoever was doing that, is not on the level of Derek Lewis. Even on his worst day, I feel like Derek Lewis can knock anybody out, man. He get him to touch your chin at least even once. It's just going to be bad news. So he's done it before to a very tall guy, and he could do it again here. And I know you can take just the straight up money line value on Derek Lewis as the dog, but I mean, you take him any other way but KO TKO. I don't see why you would do that. You take Derek Lewis via KO TKO every time. If that, or you see him in a bad matchup, you could fade him. But this is not the one to do so. I think he's going to spoil some new blood into the heavyweight division and get another knockout. Let's go with the Black Beast via KO TKO at plus 330.
Yeah, Tyson Teixeira, he's one of the UFC's new hot guys that everyone's hyped up on, but he's barely spent a half a minute in the UFC. Yeah, he has knockout power, sure, but what will that do to someone who is just as deadly when they throw the hands? That's my biggest question for him. And additionally, to your point, we've never seen Teixeira in the second round of his career. Lewis, on the other hand, is deadly until that final bell. I like Lewis here, man. I think he has a lot of potential, the chance for him to survive. And I think he spoils a lot of people's parlays. Maybe it lands a big KO late. I'm going to just take the plus 250 on the money line, but I agree to Joe's point. If you're going to take him there, there's no point in not taking him via KO TKO, sprinkling a little on that. And I think Derek Lewis is going to show him and show everyone there are levels to this. And he's been there, done that. He's faced the who's who, and he's going to show you that welcome to the UFC, little boy. And I can't wait for his post-fight speech.
Yeah, right. It's going to be hilarious, bro. Yeah, entertainment at full max. And, man, I like the plays. We're on the same side. You picked the Cypher bets in the main event and the first fight of the evening here for UFC Nashville. So I got my specific prop bets in a parlay. It's the first and last prop parlay between Fatima Klein and her submission victory and Derek Lewis and his knockout victory. They give you odds of plus 1,400 and up.
Let's go. Joe, enjoy. Should be a very fun card. And we're locked and loaded. We got UFC 318 next week in New Orleans. Then we're out to Abu Dhabi for that RDR and Whitaker.
PFL Africa.
Yes, we're locked and loaded here, kids. So good luck. Enjoy the fights tomorrow. Let's go on over to Box. Oh, but before we do, quick word from our sponsor. We're brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. So no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with the active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks to just a kick. Just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing around of golf with the boys or an elderberry watching Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor 3, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with our Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. I believe here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid, let's get to it. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. Katie Taylor's looking to make it 3-0 against Amanda Serrano. They will meet tonight. Undisputed Junior Welterweight Championship at Madison Square Garden on Netflix at 8 p.m. Real quick, they're going to break a Guinness World Record book. Nikita Badarian, he announced a 250 performance of the night bonus that could be awarded to any fighter or any fight on this card. And history will be made. A record 21 world titles will be on the line across 6 fights, including interim titles. The Guinness World Record exclusively includes belts from all 4 major boxing sanctioned bodies, the WBC, the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF. But MVP, hate him or love him, Jake Paul is...
He's doing it right.
Yeah, he's doing it right. So I am happy. They all made weight. Katie Taylor's 135.8. Amanda Serrano's 136. It's all set for the undisputed super lightweight world title.
Taylor won the card too.
Yeah,
the whole card is great.
I got fights, kids. We don't.
Chantel Cameron beat Katie Taylor. Now she's on the card. Shanika Johnson's there.
Savannah Marshall. Yep. That's where I'm gonna start, kid.
Wow, you got
Savannah Marshall taking on Shadisha Green. She's plus 375. Savannah Marshall is minus 550. She's a huge favorite. The line is a little too wide, and Shadisha Green, she does present a threat, I think, with her power, her speed. And considering Savannah Marshall's, she's fighting for the first time in 2 years, I do think Savannah Marshall has the experience advantage and consistently fought higher level competition. She fought Clarissa Shields. And she's an elite boxer. So as long as Savannah Marshall doesn't get caught early by Green's power, I would get that minus 500 down. I would take her to win Savannah Marshall by decision at minus 120. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, Shadisha Green has a belt, there's like 4, even though one might be an interim. They all have belts. It's champion versus champion. So
yeah,
I like that. I like that play. I don't have a play until the co-main event.
All right, and we could go right into it. Alicia Baumgartner taking on Jennifer
Miranda.
I know,
there's a featured bout in between there, right? There's one featured bout in between there. I mean, you could stay locked in with this card as long as the pacing's good from beginning to end, I believe.
Yeah. Do you have anything in that fight?
The one you mentioned, Alicia Baumgartner. Yeah, I just think that she's a good boxer. I think that I think she could get Jennifer Miranda out of there. I don't think Miranda has really fought that level of competition, and I'm just going to go all in on the picks that I have with the women that I have. So I'm going to take via KO, TKO. I got her getting a finish in the co-main event and putting a stamp on her, championship. She gets the interim away from her, that asterisk, if she beats Jennifer Miranda.
Yeah, I mentioned it. She's a huge favorite sitting at 35-1. Jennifer Miranda's 12-1. The question is, how do you get any value out of Baumgartner, who I think she should have no issue with Miranda.
Exactly.
She's the biggest favorite on the card. I guess the only way to bet on this fight, in my opinion, is Baumgartner to win by decision. You could get that at minus 190 or by KO TKO at plus 165. Obviously, the value is with the KO TKO prop. Yeah. She should have the advantage everywhere in this fight. And I think personally, watching her, she has decent KO power. She has 7 KOs in 15 fights.
That's a 50% shot. 50%
yeah, she should have no issue pushing the pace, overwhelming Miranda with her high volume. And I think she could land a knockout punch. So I'm surprised we're getting this good of a number for KO TKO for the defending champ. I'm going plus 165 KO TKO for Alicia Baumgartner. She's one of my favorite fighters.
I love it. And I'm with you too. So aligned exactly on the co-main event. And you know me, I got to make that a piece of a parlay because, man, I mean, this main event, bro, I'm expecting fireworks. It's arguable that Amanda Serrano won the first two, as you talked about with the press conference. And Katie Taylor said, it doesn't matter what you think. It's a matter what
Amanda
happened.
Serrano's over here talking about rounds. She lost. What do you got, kid? It's close, and Amanda Serrano's the favorite here, minus 200. Katie Taylor, who's 2-0, is plus 160.
Dog. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, man, it's gonna be an exciting fight. I can tell you that much. You know, these girls bring it. You know, the cut, right? The cut is what got to Serrano. I feel like this type of fight right here, for them to have this third matchup, though it's 2-0, you know, it's because how close it's been. I feel like it's storybook for the cut to occur to Katie Taylor. I feel like Amanda Serrano can get Katie Taylor out of there with her own medicine. And I know that's a freak thing to happen, but you know me, I'm all about the storylines and all about what could happen. And I think it doesn't necessarily discredit Katie Taylor because you can always say she 2-0, 2-1 against Amanda Serrano. And the only way that Amanda Serrano won was via, doctor stoppage with the cut. So that I'm all in on that emphasis that these girls are going to throw down, throw caution to the wind, not be as defensively minded, just keep throwing shots. And it's about whose body hold up more. And Amanda Serrano did it last time. And I just don't think Katie Taylor's will this time. So I am taking the favorite, but I'm going with that. Like I said, that storyline. I got to finish in the co-main event, straight up pick, and I'm going to have the straight pick for Amanda Serrano getting the finish KO TKO because that is a finish if a cut occurs in the doctor stoppage. It's plus 600, so amazing odds on the straight pick. But if you combine it with the Baumgartner KO TKO, it gives you the women's KO TKO parlay pick of plus 2,600 up. So 26-1 odds that will occur. And I mean, man, a little sprinkle on it, you could make some really good money. So I got to go with finishes in the all-female card. I think it may outperform some other cards we've had where there wasn't female fights on it, just to show that, man, women fight to the end. And I think this is going to be a great card. Shout out Jake Paul again, this MVP card.
And please don't sue us. I'll agree. I think this fight might be better than every fight like this weekend. Like that's how highly I think these two women are. It's the best fight in women's boxing.
The highest level this weekend. You're right. And I mean, even not on the maybe on an entertainment value as well, just all around. Like you're right. This probably might be the best matchup of the weekend.
There's a lot of ways to find value in this fight for me, and I got a few plays if I'm being honest. Despite trailing 2-0 in her trilogy, sitting almost a $2-1 betting favorite, I think was very interesting. The first fight I thought was very competitive. In the second, Serrano had moments, and when she had Taylor hurt, the problem is she couldn't close her out. She has another opportunity to finally get a win. Epic showdown is the trilogy. There'll probably be no more. It might be Katie Taylor's last fight ever. And I just think Serrano, I think she has two clear advantages here over Taylor. Power, and I think her pace. So I think there's a lot of ways to find some value in it. I am going to take the Latina from Puerto Rico. I'm going to take Amanda Serrano here. I think she finally gets the win. I'm going to take her via decision, though, at -110. Get the number down. As powerful as Amanda Serrano is, and even with her ability to hurt her opponents, she's facing arguably the greatest woman fighter in our generation outside
She needs to put a stamp on it, though.
Yes. And Katie Taylor, outside of the GWOAT, I think she's the best fighter of my lifetime. And she has grit. She has durability. That's probably unmatched. And I don't think she'll be able to put her away. So that's why I'm going to take her via decision. And Amanda Serrano, I told you, two advantages, power and pace. She's known for her power. So there are a few props that I think have really good value and I think that are worth a play. Even as durable, I mentioned, as Katie Taylor is, she is almost 40 years old. So I would say there is a ton of value on Katie Taylor being knocked down at +350. I like that play. I think Amanda Serrano could knock her down. She's already done it once.
Hey, I think three knockdowns in a round is a finish as well.
Yeah. And if you're on the side of Katie Taylor, the money line is almost at +140. But if you're feeling lucky, take Katie Taylor to get a knockdown and still win. And that's 20-1.
Wow.
That is a crazy. It certainly isn't out of the realm of possibility. She already did it.
And Serrano overextends sometimes, leaves herself susceptible.
Yeah, and Taylor could get dropped early, but outpoint Serrano. How many times have we seen that? She leads with her head. She could get knocked down and then get back up and then outpoint her. I think that's value. 20-1 is crazy. So yeah. I think there are a lot of ways to play this.
Are you taking it? Are you taking that as a hedge?
I am taking that as a hedge as well. So
okay.
Yeah, kids. So good luck. That is tonight, 8:00 on Netflix. Should be very interesting. We also have a fight week in Queens, New York, headlined by Edgar Berlanga and Hamzat Shiraz. Did you see
Queensberry in Queens?
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. I like that though. And I love the Shakur Stevenson and William Zapata fight as well. And that's where I'm gonna start.
People are sleeping on the feature bout though for that WBC World Super Lightweight title.
Alberto
Puello. He's a dog, man. He's undefeated. And Subriel Matias knocks people dead, bro. So you said you only have a play in the co-main event? I got to play in the feature bout.
All right.
I'll hit it real quick. Give me Subriel Matias. I got to take the knockout power as the edge. If I'm taking the women's power advantages in both those fights, you know where my mind's at in this boxing and the boxing world. So, yeah, Subriel Matias straight up on the money line, though. You could take him via KO, TKO, but the power could be like what you did before, but the knockdown to still win or anything like that. So, Subriel Matias -125 money line.
All right, let's go to the Chief support. Shakur Stevenson fighting close to home. Taking on William Zapata, +650 for Zapata, 11-1 for Shakur Stevenson. He's the biggest favorite on the card. And if you've watched him long enough, like me and Joey have, you know the price tag on him to win by decision isn't going to be cheap. However, at -200, I don't hate it. Zapata is a knockout artist, 27 knockouts in 33 fights. So I expect Shakur to defend and win. He has a great volume, point scoring style, while
defensive, staying away.
and he never puts himself at risk. Therefore, not going with a KO himself. If you want a better value, take Shakur Stevenson to win by decision and the fight to go to decision plus 105. I like that. But if you just want to play a safe, Shakur Stevenson by decision is minus 200. I don't hate it.
That's what I got. Yeah, I just think he's going to outclass Zepeda. I think Zepeda has that knockout power there, and as I, had a theme, and I guess I'm being hypocritical with everything else I said, taking power. It's just that Shakur, he does just that. He outclasses everybody. So I think he needs to win. I think it's better for boxing because we need to start getting these fights, start knocking these fights down that need to be made. We got Canelo and Bud Crawford down the line. We got all these fights we want to see. So I think Shakur Stevenson getting a win here just makes more waves. So yeah, via decision minus 250 when I saw it, but yeah, minus 200 definitely would take that.
All right, and let's go to the main event. Should be a really good one between Edgar Berlanga, who is plus 110. Hamza Shiraz is minus 135.
Oh, he's a favorite. I thought he was the dog at first.
Yeah, line has switched. And
is it after the press conference with Berlanga getting in with Oscar?
No, I did my plays about yesterday morning, so the 10th. So maybe before it, but kid, I'm not gonna lie, minus 135. I think it's a very good number for Hamza. He's taking on an aggressive and I think dangerous fighter in Berlanga, but there's no question. I think Hamza is the better boxer, but he has to avoid. I think so. I think he has to avoid the explosive outlaw Berlanga, who he brings it in the first round. That and any brawls along the way, Berlanga's path to victory, I think Hamza can keep his composure. We saw him at the press conference and all throughout fight week. He's just been very composed. And I think that's going to ruffle some figures of Edgar Berlanga, who I don't know if he'll be able to weather the storm early. So, and let's be honest, look at the history of Edgar Berlanga. He's notoriously faded later in fights. So I think there's multiple ways to play this fight. Minus 135 for Hamza Shiraz. The price is low enough that I think you could bet it comfortably without having to stress a method. Hamza by KO TKO at plus 135, I think is a great number for a fighter with great power, great gas tank, and against a fighter who slows down and loses his luster as the fight goes on. The fight not to go to distance at plus 105, if you don't want to bet a side because of how close it is, and rightfully so, I think betting the fight to finish with plus odds, I think is a great way to go. We know Berlanga will be going for that KO any chance he gets, and if he doesn't get it, I think he is going to gas himself out and put him in a bad position where Hamza Shiraz can finish the fight later on. So fight not to go to decision at plus 105, I think is great. Minus 135, I'm going to take it straight up for Hamza and sprinkle a little later on. KO TKO at plus 325.
Good, man. We're head-to-head in it. I got Edgar Berlanga. I like the power. I went back to the power again. The Austin Williams fight's about the only good fight, but you can also argue the competition to Edgar Berlanga's fault. But he is, he has gotten in the ring with Canelo Alvarez. So, I mean, he has seen the highest of highs, Not that the lights are going to be too bright for Hamza Shiraz, but look at the last fight, man. It took Turki Al-Sheikh telling him the scorecard and, getting him off his stool to stay in that fight. So I think you can't teach the dog, the size of the fight in the dog sometimes. And I just think that Hamza Shiraz may find a way out. You're right that the fear is Edgar Berlanga gassing late and Hamza Shiraz putting on a clinic per se. We haven't seen that from him, but I think that's what you hope. But Edgar Berlanga has showed he can knock people foolish. He can knock them completely out, and it's just about Hamza Shiraz feeling that and, like I said, winding a way out. So taking Edgar Berlanga, I'm taking him straight up. I think minus 110, it's super playable, and you could even sprinkle some on the KO TKO, but this is a high-profile fight. I don't necessarily think you're going to see a finish in the main event of this one, so I just took it safe with the money line bet, but I think the power is the X factor. Berlanga could catch him and finish him, or he could knock him down and win on the scorecard. So opposite side of you, my boy, but may the best man win.
May the best man win. Good luck. Should be a hell of a weekend with combat sports and boxing going down tonight. And we also have tonight on Amazon Prime Fight Night 33. Okay, what do you got?
Yes, sir. I'm taking the last MMA fight on the card. I made my predictions on X about everything, and even one had liked it. So hopefully, I get another, correct prediction throughout. But Ilya Freemanov was supposed to fight Pedro Dantas, and he's out. I was on Pedro Dantas in the beginning because I just didn't like the level of competition Freemanov has fought. But Ibrahim Daliev has fought better competition, and I'm still taking Pedro Dantas because he has that one path to victory Ibrahim Daliev has, and that's to the ground. He wants to ground and pound, get you to the mat, submit you somehow there. But Pedro Dantas can deny those takedowns, and he can knock you out on the feet. He's a dog price, plus 155. I'm going to take Pedro Dantas, the surging Brazilian. He's 6-0. I like the young upstart. Let's get him to 7-0 with the victory. Give me Guerrero, dog price, plus 155.
I love it, kid. Well, good luck tonight. Good luck this weekend with the fights. Any big plans for you this weekend? What are you doing?
Nah, just that, man. And a little bit of work. But, hey, we're going to lock into this fight. I'm feeling like, what else is going on outside the combat sports world?
We got the All-Star Weekend coming up, Home Run Derby on Monday.
He's down here in Atlanta, ain't it?
Yeah. Ronald Acuna Jr. being an All-Star is preposterous. Anyway,
it had to be. He had to be.
Does he? There should be a rule. If you play less than half the games in the first half, you shouldn't be an All-Star.
Yeah, but it's in Atlanta.
It doesn't matter.
He's their guy.
He sucks. Fuck him. Kid, enjoy the fights. Good luck this weekend, and we will see you next week. Peace.